Welcome back, Salisbury, to this, our 5th edition of Impact for the 2017-2018 school year. Impact is a bi-weekly showcase of what our students, staff, and community do, highlighting news and events that take place. On this episode, we visit our extremely talented cheerleaders and catch up with their coach. We take an inside look into the science and art classes and the electives they offer, and we join our staff for the Teacher Appreciation Breakfast. All this and more. We'll be right back. Thank you for tuning in as we have a great show for you this week. First, This Just In. This Just In focuses on a message from our school nurses about flu season. They give us some tips and information, so pay close attention as the heart of the winter months hit.
Hi, I'm Loretta Becker. I'm the certified school nurse at Salisbury Township at Western Elementary and Harry S. Truman.
And I'm Chris Tripp, the certified school nurse at Salisbury Middle School and High School. And we're going to talk about the flu today. And first we'll start out with the cold versus the flu.
If you have the flu, there's 4 main things that usually happen with the flu. It's sudden onset, you have a fever, you have a cough, and you have body aches and pains. Those are 4 of the main things that with the flu you usually have.
Now with the cold, that develops gradually, and you don't really have body aches with the cold. You usually don't have a fever, or if you do, it's under 100 degrees, and you may have a mild cough, but with the flu it's a severe cough. Some other differences between the cold and the flu. With the flu, you do have the severe headache, but with the cold, you only sometimes have a headache. And with the flu, tiredness.
Yeah, you're really tired when you have the flu, and you need to be in bed and stay in bed because you're not going to feel like doing anything when you have the flu. With the cold, you're more functional, and with a cold, you can be in school. With the flu, you should not ever be in school. To prevent from getting the flu, the best thing is to stay away from people when they're sick. You should get your flu shot, your flu vaccine, and also just eat well and get good rest.
Exercise and drink a lot of fluids also.
And wash your hands a lot.
If you think you have the flu, you should call your doctor right away because you can get medication to help prevent it from lasting for really long. You should also make sure you stay home and not spread your germs to other people. Yeah, and anyone can get the flu, but it's more serious in children and elderly, so it's a lot harder for them to fight the flu and get better quicker. So that's why it's important for everyone to get the flu shot, but especially the young and the old.
Okay, to help prevent spreading the flu, some things that you should really do are make sure you do cover your cough. If you're coughing or sneezing, dispose of your tissues appropriately, and disinfecting surfaces and door handles and doorknobs as you need to if you really are sick, because it's spread through droplet and through touching droplets or infected surfaces, and then like touching your nose and mouth. Okay, so to stay healthy, there's the normal things you can do, such as eating properly, good nutrition, proper rest. At least, children should have 8 hours of rest at least a night.
Try to exercise at least 3 times a week. Try to relax. Try to do things to manage stress.
Stay away from sick friends and family members if you can.
And if you're not feeling well, don't push yourself. Try to just stay home and take a day off to make yourself feel better.
Thank you for all you do to keep us healthy and safe. Remember, if you have a fever, just stay home, as that is when you are most likely contagious. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to the nursing staff. Also just in, we recently went into a new year with new exciting opportunities awaiting, and many people probably made resolutions. But where did this whole concept come from? Olivia takes a look at some of the origin stories of our favorite holiday traditions.
The tradition of New Year's resolutions was started by the ancient Babylonians 4,000 years ago. They were the first to hold recorded celebrations in honor of the New Year, which began in mid-March when the crops were planted. During a 12-day festival known as Akitu, the Babylonians crowned a new king or reaffirmed their loyalty to the reigning king. They also made promises to the gods to pay off debts and return objects that they had borrowed. If they kept their word, it was said the pagan gods would bestow a favor upon them for the coming year. If not, they would fall out of favor with the gods. A similar practice occurred in ancient Rome after Julius Caesar changed the calendar and established January 1st as the beginning of the new year. The Romans believed that Janus, a god whose spirit inhabited doorways and arches, looked back to the previous year and into the future. Romans often offered sacrifices to the deity and made promises of good conduct for the coming year. It is most likely that this is when New Year's resolutions begun. In Rome, Saturnalia was a holiday to honor the sun god Saturn. In the week leading up to the winter solstice, Saturnalia was a time when food and drink were plentiful and the normal Roman social order was turned upside down. Businesses and schools were often closed for celebration. In the earliest days, Easter was the main holiday for Christianity. Although the Bible doesn't mention a date for Jesus' birth, Pope Julius I chose December 25th, commonly believed because it was an effort to adopt traditions of the pagan Saturnalia festival. The custom spread to Egypt by the year 432 and to England by the end of the 6th century. The evergreen fir tree has been used to celebrate winter festivals for thousands of years as well, including in pagan and Christian beliefs. Pagans used branches of it to decorate homes during the winter solstice. Unlike other Jewish holidays, Hanukkah is not mentioned in the Bible. The historical events that the celebration is based upon are recorded in Maccabees 1 and 2, which are books that contain later Jewish collections of writings. In the year 168 BCE, the Syrian tyrant Antiochus sent his soldiers to Jerusalem. The Syrians desecrated the temple, which was the holy place for the Jewish. Antiochus abolished Judaism and also outlawed many festivals that they celebrated. Greek altars and idols were set up for worship, and Jewish citizens were given the option to convert and worship Greek gods, or to be executed. On the 25th day of Kislev, the Hebrew month, in 168 BCE, the temple was renamed for the Greek god Zeus. After this, a resistance movement developed against the cruelty. The resistance won 2 major battles, routing the Syrians. Hanukkah is meant to evoke images of the Jewish victor against the overwhelming odds. The word Hanukkah means dedication and commemorates purification and rededication of the temple following defilement by the Greeks.
And now, here are some headlines. Our headline segments will focus on our art classes and science classes. First, we visit with our science department. Science department chair Mrs. Basil guides us through the science electives and how the department has been studying consistent and well. Let's see what she has to say.
What are the course electives for sciences?
So really most of the science courses that we offer here at the high school are electives. The only course that everybody is required to take is biology. So after that you can take chemistry or physics or environmental science, and then AP Bio or Physics 2 or Chem 2. All of our science courses are going to encourage students to think through problems and ways that we can solve them. So they're really important to understand the world around us and just everyday things that we encounter and what to do about them. Right now, I don't anticipate any major changes in the science courses that we're offering. We offer a really good, solid background in all of the sciences, and I don't see us adding any electives at this time. Everybody's schedule is already really jam-packed. So right now we're focusing in on the cell membrane and how materials move in and out of the cell. So the students are using raw eggs as their model, and the eggs have been placed into different solutions to see how the size of the egg changes.
We love our science department here at Salisbury, and the classes are always challenging and fascinating. Thanks, Mrs. Basil. Moving along, our next headline features our art department, and there are many new offerings in art. I recently visited with Mr. Yetter and Mr. Linsenbigler to discuss the electives and the state of the art program.
Sculpture and Ceramics 1 is a basic level intro course where we look at using multiple mediums to create full round or three-dimensional structures and objects. We work with clay, we work with paper mache, and then we learn how do you transform these mediums, some things in particular, cardboard, paper, newspaper, wire. How do you make something that is flat or straight into complex three-dimensional forms? How do you give volume to something as flat as cardboard? How do you build with that? So we challenge the way in which materials are typically seen, and we build upon that to create new, unique items and objects. In 3D printing, we're currently building a Rube Goldberg machine. The Rube Goldberg machine itself is a complex machine that does a very, very simple task. To get to this point, we've looked at a lot of form and function of objects. How does the shape matter? How do you customize? How does functionality take into place? How do you get from a digital to a real world object? And how do you do all of this with 3D printing? So we've looked online for CAD softwares. We've learned how to work and construct inside of those softwares and those programs. And then we've learned how do these communicate with the 3D printing bot themselves, and what are the bits and the ends of this. Advanced Art is a class for the highly motivated art student who is potentially building a portfolio to continue education in art, as well as those who are just looking to develop their own voice within art. A lot of the projects are very open to interpretation, are free of designated mediums, and allow for a lot of exploration. The course is truly there to challenge and open the perspective of the art student, to help them redefine who they are as an artist, and to truly grow in whatever aspect of their art they want. In Drawing and Painting 1, we review the basics, going over perspective, color theory, form and figure drawing, but one thing that we start to do is connect all the dots. Why do we learn these things? How do they interact with each other? One of the biggest things that we learn, and we do this through a scaffolding system within each project, is how to accurately recreate anything using just sort of basic measurement and or grid system. It doesn't matter what subject matter you bring to a topic like that, as long as you can sort of perform the rudimentary task of visually dividing an object up or measuring it against itself, you can learn to draw. And that's what Drawing 1 is all about, reinstilling confidence in people and exploring new methodologies of drawing.
Digital imaging is an art class that focuses on creating art on the computer. Primarily, we use Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator and do a variety of creative projects using the computer as the medium, and we'll also print them out too. Some design projects, some fine art creative projects, a variety of different things to inspire creative thinking. Advanced digital imaging is the next level up, more advanced projects from what digital imaging is. Photography 1 is a basic course on learning how to use the camera, using the mode dial on the camera, basic photo shooting subjects like portraits and still lifes, a variety of different at-home assignments of shooting photos outside of school and in school. Some current projects we're working on are portrait photography, doing double exposures on film, which is overlapping the images on the same frame of film, and also we'll be doing still life photography with holiday still lifes. Advanced photography is a more advanced version of Photo 1, obviously. We'll be getting into more intricate darkroom processes, using enlargers and doing some digital printing and hand coloring, as well as using more advanced camera techniques. DIY Crafts is a craft course focusing on a variety of different hands-on projects. Some are student-initiated and some are teacher-driven, where we work with a variety of media, cardboard, mixed media, painting and crafting, three-dimensional as well as two-dimensional. It's kind of like an overall craft course. Some of the projects are more crafty and others are more fine art, creative-based.
The art program always exhibits their work in the very popular art show coming this spring. Be on the lookout for information. If you have any questions about electives being offered next year, please reach out to Mr. Yetter or Mr. Linsebigler. Okay, time for the concession stand. In this episode's concession stand, Haley gives us our first look at the Varsity Girls cheerleading squad this year, a group very excited about where the program is headed. Take it away, Haley.
Basketball season for cheer. We have 10 girls on our squad this year, ready to go. They're cheering the varsity girls and boys games. Something new they're doing this year is they're doing band dances at halftime to keep up their skills for football season as well. We do have a couple fundraisers coming up. We have our Krispy Kreme selling donuts in January. And then we're going to start up again with our open gyms for tryouts and stuff for next fall, and we'll be selling the Wawa Hoagie coupons again.
So this year cheer has been going good. So far for the boys games, we've been having a lot of fun and doing dances and cheers during halftime, and we've been doing way more stunting than before.
Right now I'm in basketball cheer. It's really fun. We do a lot of stuff. I love stunting, and we do halftime performances at games, and we do fundraisers and stuff, so we can help make money so we can do more things for cheerleading.
It's a pretty fun experience with its cons and pros, I guess. The team is really nice and all the girls are super inviting. They aren't like worried about being embarrassed, and they definitely help you if you need help. Like, we have a group chat and everything. The coach is super sweet, and it didn't take me long to memorize anything because of how considerate and how helpful they were.
My favorite cheer is Energize and Come Alive with SHS because it really shows our school spirit.
My favorite cheer would probably be Freak because it's just so funny and catchy, although it looks really weird. And I guess the best thing about being on the team is just how fun and supportive it is, just being in it.
Our comp squad has now competed at 3 different competitions. The first one was at Voorhees High School in New Jersey. The girls took first place in JV competition and also in game day at JV division. Our next comp was the Catasauqua Colonial League, and the girls competed only in the game day division at the varsity level, and they only go up to the 3rd place, and we didn't place in the top 3 there. And then the next one was at Moravian College on November 19th. The girls competed in both JV comp and JV game day and took first in both as well. We do have one more competition, hopefully in January, that we're looking at, and that's at Becca High School. Starting in March, we're going to have our open gyms for football cheerleading and comp cheerleading, and then we're going to have tryouts at the beginning of August. If you are interested in getting involved with cheerleading, please let me know. You can email me or give me a call, and my email's at the bottom of the screen.
Congratulations on a successful year, though it is not quite over for them, as they have the rest of the winter as well as competitions and preparation work in the off-season. From one very talented group to a very unusual talent, let's ignite your imagination. In this episode's Ignite segment, we continue to look at the trends of the year, and this one is very unusual and quite difficult to do. Jack delivers a story about the box challenge.
The Invisible Box Challenge is a challenge that has recently swept the nation. It involves people trying to step on what looks like an invisible box, but it's really just them jumping and keeping their one foot extremely still. It's very difficult, but I asked students at Salisbury High School if they have heard of it.
Have you ever heard of the Invisible Box Challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it a few times and stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I have.
Can you do it?
I can try.
Clearly it is very difficult and a lot of students can't do it, but one student who can do it, Megan Feiner, is very well at it. After asking a bunch of students to do it, I felt I should try it out myself, so here's me doing it, and if I do say so myself, it's pretty good. I challenged the same students to keep trying it around school that day and just see if they could master it themselves and just get better at it, and a lot of them did. It just takes a lot of practice and you got it.
Okay, I've tried it and I cannot do it. Pretty amazing how it actually looks like the person is walking on a box that is not there. A nice story done by Jack. And from the world of trending to the world of innovating, let's innovate. As a one-to-one district, the student body is constantly finding ways to apply the innovative software programs on our computers. One such way is a kind of cool little trick called a cinematograph, where one part of an image has motion while the rest of it is completely still. A growing fad online and one actually not too difficult to accomplish. Let's see how to make one on Photoshop. Nice job on the tutorial, James. In our second Innovate feature, Sam takes us on a journey of coding software programs available to us anytime, mainly for free. Coding is an important skill set and one that many districts are attempting to implement in their curricula. Have a look.
Here are 5 coding programs that make coding easy. The Google Logo Starter project is an easy, fun project to play around with. You can make the letters of the Google logo dance, tell a story, or create games. Sam chose different letter styles from the costume section, then colored them in by using Paint Bucket tool. He did the same with every 6 letters of the logo, but with different colors. This project runs on Scratch and it's best for ages 7 to 16. Code Academy is an online free coding website that offers 12 different programming languages at advanced levels. Some features from Code Academy are animating your name, making a website about you, and building a galaxy. Kano teaches kids step-by-step coding for ages 6 and up. You can code art, hack games like Minecraft and Pong, make animations, and collaborations with your friends in 86 countries. What being shown here is a step-by-step code of drawing freely using the cursor. Swift is a simple, interesting, and free coding software made by Apple. It makes coding easier to read and write. More and more developers are using Swift code in their apps right now because of how simple it is. This app is a preview of content and discussion. What's being shown here is a code playground that teaches you an easy way on how to code. Hopscotch allows elementary students to make their simple projects from coding. These things shown here are code blocks that you can drag in and out of the scripts. This step-by-step program makes learning to code simple. You can create different types of art, animations, and games with this app.
Makes it look so easy, but coding is still a very difficult concept. If you want to know more, check out Hour of Code online and look at the amazing things our district is doing to promote it, particularly at the elementary level. Okay, get ready to be inspired. Our final feature is an inspiring segment where we held a teacher appreciation breakfast for our staff. A simple gesture and one we wish we could do for them every day. Have a look.
Thank you to a teacher.
Thank you to the teachers.
Thank you for the teachers.
Thank you to the teachers.
I'd like to say thank you to the teachers for helping me get through school, even though preferably it's hard going there early in the morning. I'd like to thank them for helping me apply to colleges. You know, they provided best experience for Salisbury, a really good school. I'd like to thank them for keeping the motivation to have a good day and to be a Falcon.
Thank you to a teacher who helped me get through a class that was extremely difficult for me.
Thank you to the teachers who helped me try to keep my grade up and actively try to keep me involved in their class.
Thank you for the teachers that allowed me to express my art in various ways.
Thank you to the teachers that always encourage me to keep learning.
From the Impact staff, thank you to all our teachers. You truly do make a difference in our lives, and you impact us so much in so many positive ways. Keep up the good work.
One in 4 students will experience physical bullying at some point in their lives. One in 4 students will go through the mental torment of being laughed at every day. One in 4 students have no one that will stand up for them. Bullying breaks minds. Don't let it break yours, and don't break others.
Well, that does it for this edition of Impact. We will see you with our next episode in a few weeks, where we will give you some highlights from our pep rally. Visit some students who have returned from college to answer questions, as well as some updates and messages from our administration. Have a great few weeks, Salisbury.